join us for a Michelob Ultra Wolves watch party, Caspers and Egan, December 29th. You can come hang out with Maxo, Max Fuller, 7 to 9 p.m., play halftime trivia, win awesome prizes, plus you can enjoy food and drink specials while you cheer on the Wolves. Don't miss out. All the details, KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Pass, Common Man Program. I'm Common. He's Brett Blakemore. Is it best of after this with Big Ticket, or is it?
Yes, sir.
So it's best of. What? To scrounge around a lot to get that, didn't you? I'm just kidding. Poised, polished, and professional is what we call Big Ticket. Unprepared, uninformed, and unapologetic is what we call this show. 1 o'clock hour. Let's start it out with a little 5, 3, 4.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1. It's time now to consider the course.
There are no rules. It's Christmas Eve.
Correct.
What course in Palm Springs are you most looking forward to playing next week?
It's called the Palms. It's Freddie Couples golf course. Heard it's really, really good. I mean, you know, I've said this before. I'm not really, look, if you said to me, hey, Common, we can play a par 3 golf course or we can play Augusta National Golf Club, I'm taking Augusta. But I like all golf courses. I'm not a golf course snob. I mean, I know what the best ones are, and I'll play them if you want to. If you want to get me on, I'll go. But especially on vacation golf, I just want 18 flags. If the greens run true, it's all I need. But yeah, playing 3 or 4 rounds, haven't decided yet. I mean, last year I played PGA West. PGA West has
That's some coin.
Well, yeah, and I think it's got like 6, 7 courses, but I think it's got 9 or 11. Like 5 of them are private, 4 are public. And played the Pete Dye Dunes course. It was nice, but it's a fortune. It's like, really? I mean, you could what you pay there for 1 round, you could play 3 or 4 rounds at most courses. So it's like, I'm done. It was fun. You know, let Baby Brother Peter and do see what it's like, but I'm done doing that. I can't do it. So.
Question number 2.
Time now for an in-depth look at the state of hockey.
I do have bad news besides the state of hockey, because that whole time that you were explaining the Palms and Palm Springs, I was trying to find one specific thing, and I can't find it. So we might need a little help from the Rubes to find it, or Tenna somewhere. But I was going to ask you, so I'll just say it. Where are you now that overtime loss, now 2 losses in a row, 1 in regulation, 1 in overtime, to 1 good team and 1 okay team in the Predators? Where is Common on the bandwagon for your Minnesota Wild?
I want to ask you a question.
Okay. Understandable.
Since the trade for Dylan Hughes, what's the Wild's record?
I want to say they're 4-1-1, something like that. 5-1-1.
Since the trade, what's Vancouver's record?
I think like 5-1. Yeah.
Why did we make that trade? Vancouver's better. Has Hughes scored a goal? He's won, right?
He has scored once, yes.
1 assist, I think.
Yeah.
Boy.
Thought
he's supposed to be really, really good. Let me ask you this question, too.
Yeah.
What was the Wild's record in the month of November before we got Hughes?
It was really good. I don't remember the number, but it was really good.
Why did we make a trade? We were good enough as why? Why would we give away, and those 3 of those guys that were playing for us, they were instrumental, I would think. They did their part in helping us to be really good. I think we made a big mistake. I think we're in trouble.
So are you jumping off the bandwagon?
I'm off.
You're done. Yeah, it's concerning, but anyway.
Question number 3.
It's now time to take an in-depth look at the state of the skull.
What's the Lions coming to town to take on the Vikings? Brosmer is in, hairline fracture, J.J. McCarthy. Of course, the Vikings are the NFL team in town. They were purple. Common, what is the best case scenario for Vikings fans?
I think it's to have the team play really well, play in an exciting game and lose the game. Mm-hmm. And I think you want to finish last. You get that last place schedule, the 4th place schedule, and then you also get a better draft pick. And I know everybody else disagrees with that. And then they think I'm saying I think the players should do that purposely. I'm not asking them to tank it. They're not going to tank it. The coaching staff's not. I get all of that. This isn't a short week. It's a fast opportunity. That's what the coach said yesterday.
Brilliant.
I would just like to see a really good football game that's entertaining and to lose if you're a Vikings fan, because I know that a couple of spots in the draft, like let's say I don't even know where they're destined to pick right now. If the season ended, let's say it was 17. Well, wouldn't you rather be at 14? I just would. Because, and the idea that, and the coach was saying this, and it's a wet blanket Wednesday, man. Or let's call it a swaddling clothes Wednesday. He's talking about building momentum, playing really well in December as a stepping stone for next season. That's preposterous. Every player on this team will forget about these games, and once the season's over, they'll forget about the season, and they'll take their time off, and then it'll be OTAs and mini camps and training camp. And what happened last year will have what happens in December has no bearing. You can try to tell me it does, and it doesn't. I'm sorry. It just has no bearing going forward. That's just coach speak. That's what coaches want to say, but it has no bearing on what's going. Particularly because, of the current 53-man roster, just give me a guess, Brett. We're knowing how the team is played, knowing the contract situations, etc. How many of the 53 guys that are currently on the roster will be on the team next year? 40?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Ish.
Maybe 45-ish. I don't know. Maybe 50. Yeah. Maybe 50 guys will come back. I think there'll be major changes. So those guys aren't going to be here. So it's so for me, it's play well, have an exciting game. Maybe Brosmer play really well and just, lose on a long field goal at the end of the game. And you can say, God, that was fun. I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's too bad my team lost, but guess what? It's nice. We're going to get a better draft pick out of the deal.
For the record, if the season ended right now, the Vikings would be drafting 15th.
Okay.
Teams ahead of them in the draft order: Baltimore, Dallas, Kansas City, the Rams via trade, Miami, Cincinnati. So these are all teams that, and by the way, these teams are losing too. Baltimore, Dallas, Kansas City. Kansas City's lost 4 in a row.
Let's go.
So they're getting higher draft picks, and the Vikings they've won 3 in a row, and now they're falling down the draft order.
Someone just said, funny you weren't saying this when the Lions finished really strong 3 years ago. What a fraud. I never said that. I don't never would have said. Plus, you could also say, and let's say I did. Well, they were on a team on the rise. They were ascending. The Vikings aren't ascending. Last I checked, they're descending. They're dropping like a stone in water. They're
but they've won 3 in a row.
Yeah, right.
Here we come.
Yeah, so yeah. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 Questions. Well, actually 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
Let's pause. I need to finish my lunch. I got several other... there's a couple of other things NFL related I want to talk about. Maybe get back to the Wild a little bit and the Wolves and so much more here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
Home Services has your shot at 4 tickets to see Green Bay take on the Purple in early January, plus $500 in game day cash. Register for a chance to win today. KFAN.com/furnace. KFAN.com/furnace.
Double 13-14 pass, Common Man program. I'm Common. He's like more. Wolves did win, winning games. They beat a team that's pretty good too. It didn't beat up on an also ran and then find a way to lose against winning teams. Have been playing a better as of late. Big Meow was back in town. Bodega Cat had 40. Ant had 38. Really though, the A topic of that game is Rosen and Sauce both courtside at the game. Sauce is a bigger fraud than Rosen. You know, he whines about Rosen always sitting courtside and this and that and the other thing. And funny, he's right there with him, sitting courtside. But yeah, good for the Wolves.
Sorry for the people behind him.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So congratulations to your Minnesota Timberwolves for winning that football game. I saw an interesting story on CBSSports.com. And it's the headline is, what if the NFL had a transfer portal? What if the NFL had a transfer portal ranking 10 players who would benefit most in 2026? Who's the running back for the Dolphins?
Achane.
Achane. Says he's one of the NFL's most explosive running backs. His league-leading 5.8 yards per carry. He has a league-leading 5.8 yards per carry. 1,736 yards from scrimmage, sixth most in the league among running backs since 2024, while his 24 scrimmage tutties in the same span are tied for seventh most at that position. At 24, the speedster has a few top-shelf years left, which is why he would be better suited on a squad not undergoing a crisis at QB like the Dolphins. He'd like to transfer and get out, right?
I have a feeling there might be a wide receiver that we are familiar with on this list.
It's possible. Dexter Lawrence, defensive tackle for the Giants, is on the list. Jeffrey Simmons, defensive tackle for the Titans. Brock Bowers, tight end for the Radiators. Max Crosby, edge rusher for the Radiators. And, last year there were rumors the Lions were going to go after him. Can you imagine Crosby on one side and Hutch on the other? That'd be...
it's meat at the quarterback.
Yeah, that's meat at the quarterback is what it is. Number 5 would be Bijan Robinson, and that's absolutely pod. The Falcons are a terrible team in a terrible city with terrible fans in a terrible city. Tell me there's not a team in the league. I mean, Detroit's got Gibbs. San Francisco's got McCaffrey. Philly's got what's-his-face, but he's not been... not even close to last year's productivity, right? Mm-hmm. And I know there's other running backs I'm leaving out, King Henry over at Baltimore, but boy, Bijan Robinson leads the league in yards from scrimmage with 2,026. He's produced at least 1,400 yards from scrimmage in each of his first three seasons, making him one of just 14 running backs to do so in National Football League history. And number 4 on that list is your guy, Jets, Justin Jefferson. It says, the 2020 NFL Offensive Player of the Year award winner entered 2025 as the NFL's all-time receiving yards per game leader with a career average of 96.5. Then 2024 10th overall pick quarterback J.J. McCarthy happened. Jefferson is on a streak of 10 straight games without 100 receiving yards, the longest streak of his career. And a 61.1 receiving yards per game figure this season is significantly worse than his rookie number of 87.5. Jefferson's previous career low was 87.5. Puka Nacua has now overtaken Jefferson for the league's all-time receiving yards per game record, with the Vikings superstar dropping to number 2 at 90.8 career average. Puka Nacua is at 96.9. Jefferson helped revive Sammy Darnold's career in 2024, but he's been unable to make it work with McCarthy, who ranks dead last in the NFL out of 33 qualified quarterbacks in completion percentage, touchdown to interception ratio, and passer rating, which none of the numbers are good. 57.3%, 11 tutties, 12 ints, and the passer rating of 71.2. The multi-time All-Pro could certainly walk out the door if he had the option to do so in 2026. That's what, but here's what's being said. And you've probably read the pieces. It's been talked about on the radio. It's been on all the national shows, and it's been in all the Fish Wrap East, West, Athletic. And the coach is going over the top, I think, in his praise of what a great teammate is and everything. And he is. I'm not saying he's not, but I think it's because that is the fear, and it might even be unfounded. At least at this time, it doesn't appear. Everything Jefferson has said is he's not diva-like. At least not. Certainly that could change, but right now, he's not complaining. He wants to win. He says all the right things. He says, if I look discouraged, it's because we're not winning. And he wants to help. You've seen it when he's connected on tutty passes to other players or made big plays. He's the first guy to do the old clap, and he's pumped up. But that could change as time goes by. And I think the coach is just making sure, gosh, we love you so very much, you're the great, blah, blah, because you want to make sure that the receiver, and I think he already knows it, but you want to keep reminding him, we love you so much here. And he's the face of the franchise right now. There is always that danger that if the quarterback situation doesn't get better, because players have finite careers, he's age-wise probably about to enter. He's probably starting in his prime right now, right? And it sounds good to say I'm all in, and I don't mind helping the kid along and growing with him and us getting back to where we once were, because I like the organization, the coach, and the culture, and all those catchphrases that we use. But if next year is a lot like this year, that's when a guy probably starts going, we've seen guys waive. Buxton was willing to. Buxton signed a deal. I love Minnesota, want to end my career here. I think most players in a perfect world would like to end their career with the franchise they started with. But I think that is incumbent on the team also making postseason play, making runs, and hopefully even winning a world championship. But at least getting there every year makes it more fun. If you're playing with a terrible team in a terrible city with terrible fans, that gets old in a real hurry. So we'll see how that goes. Let's pause, come back, and I've got more controversial Vikings news other side of the break here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
Hey, Rubes, it's the holiday season, and Bell Bank is giving one KFAN listener each week $1,000 to pay it forward to a charity of their choice. Just head over to KFAN.com, keyword contest to learn more and to enter. KFAN.com, keyword contest.
Couple 13-14 pass, Common here, along with Brett Blakemore. Travel should be good for Santa and his reindeer. We don't have any Calcuttas that I see in the offing. Matter of fact, weather relatively mild for Christmas. Are you I'm dreaming of a white Christmas kind of a person? Can it be brown outside and you're still okay with it? I know people that just hate that just kills them if it's not. I want a white Christmas. And that's okay, because I don't mind a white Christmas either, but I don't mind if it's...
It doesn't ruin my day.
Yeah, right.
But I would prefer a white Christmas. But it's not like if it keeps melting like it has been the last couple of days, I'm going to be devastated. What
would make Christmas better for you? A white Christmas here in Minneapolis, or being on the first tee at the Palms with Common and baby brother Peter, where there's no snow?
The only question is where we hit next at that point.
Yeah, I'm with you. What else was I going to... There was one other thing I wanted to say before I moved on to... Oh, I know what it is. It's another text message. This one says, working at FedEx ground today while listening to the Christmas Eve version of the Grum, I was expecting to hear at least one Christmas Dylan duet. Not angry, just disappointed. Can you find an instrumental that we can play? Tennessee was playing him this week. Can you find an instrumental?
I'm not sure where he was. Oh, maybe this? Is this a Christmas?
Let me see.
seem like a particular song.
Yeah, it's yeah.
I mean, it's Christmassy.
Yeah, I guess you could make up words then. I guess I could.
I guess.
Go ahead, try it again. I would prefer a white Christmas, but if you can have a foursome in Palm Springs instead, I'd rather do that. Where'd you hit it on one? How far from the green were you? Your 5-iron could just as well have been a pitchfork. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. The Santa came to play, Rudolph with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? So there you go.
You give the people what they want.
Here's one of those football stories that I just roll my eyes, shrug my shoulders, and shake my head. And I do like the result, because in this town, I don't think you'll find a lot of Sean Payton fans. Sean Payton, former coach of the New Orleans Saints, current coach of the Denver Broncos. I think the dislike, and in some cases, hatred of Sean Payton goes back to the 2009 NFC Championship game, in which the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings, led by your namesake, Brett Favre, were beaten in overtime by the Saints in the NFC Championship. No! And that was the Bountygate game, where Sean Payton was suspended for an entire season, folks. And that did the defensive coordinator. I just burped on the air. Sorry about that.
Sure.
Yeah, I quit thinking. Did the defensive coordinator get banned for life? Or did he just get suspended too? I don't even remember who he was. But it was a Bountygate, right? Hey, beat this guy up, knock him out of the game, we got $500 for it. And then if you'll remember, when the Minneapolis Miracle, I was there. Late in the game when it looked like it was over, half a minute to go, whatever it was, Peyton looked at the crowd and started mocking the Skol chant. And then Keenum to Diggs, the Minneapolis Miracle was on. He's back in the news for inspiring another team, apparently. Headline from the Associated Press story by Arnie Melendrez Stapleton. And the headline says, how the Jaguars used a small market comment as a catalyst to end the Broncos' 11-game win streak. Dateline Denver. One man's flowers are apparently another man's sours. Get it? Jaguars coach Liam Cohen said, great team effort. Just thankful that a small market team like us can come into a place like Mile High and get it done. Cohen used an innocuous comment or attempted compliment from Broncos coach Sean Payton earlier in the week as a rallying cry for his upstart team, which has won 6 straight games, vaulting into the mix for the AFC's top playoff seed with 11-4 record, a game behind both the Bronx and the Pats. Several of his players repeated some form of what they considered Denver's diss in the aftermath of Jacksonville's signature win. Payton insisted he meant no disrespect last Wednesday when he mentioned the Jaguars hailing from a small market. Asked last Wednesday about the challenge of facing Jacksonville, Payton praised Cohen and his staff as well as the Jaguars' offense, defense, and special teams in trying to make a point that they had closed in on a playoff field and seemingly weren't getting their proper respect nationally. He ended his windy list of obstacles the Broncos were facing and the Jaguars with this summation. As you look at them and you watch the tape, it's a smaller market, but you see a really good team. So apparently that was the billboard material that Cohen was searching for. Cohen's fitting right in as a head coach, using anything he can grasp, anything that could even be remotely interpreted as a diss, to use it on the billboard. And it's like, and I'm no Sean Payton fan, so I don't, But again, I guess I'm not. I enjoy watching the Broncos play football. I like the Knicks kids, fun to watch. I won't, if Denver wins a big game, I won't be, hate Sean Payton. Sorry, I just can't, I can't go there. I'm sorry. And
this is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
And maybe that's sacrilegious. Maybe I shouldn't be that way. Maybe I should just have this hatred for him. But, and then do you believe what Sean Payton said or not? Or do you think he was trying to rip the club? If he was going out of his way to talk about what a wonderful team they are, the coaching staff's great, the team is great, offense, defense, special teams is pretty good for a small market club. It doesn't sound like he said it that way. Maybe he meant it that way. I don't know. I wasn't there and I didn't see the video or hear the audio. I don't know how it was delivered. I think he actually has a point because I plead guilty. I have not been paying, not only have I not been paying as close attention to the Jacksonville Jaguars as I once did, I've never paid attention to the Jacksonville. Have you? I couldn't care less about them. Terrible team, terrible city, terrible fans, terrible stadium. One of 4 teams never to have gone to a big game. Cleveland, Detroit, Jacksonville, and I think the current Houston club. Now, that franchise, I think they were the Oilers. No, the Texans were the Texans. I think there's four franchises that have never been to a big game. There have been a number of them that have gone and not won, San Diego being one of those. Minnesota Vikings being one of those. And several others. Cardinals have never won the whole thing, but they've been to a big game. Is it 4 teams? If not,
yeah, you nailed it. Browns, Lions, Texans, Jaguars. Yeah.
So I harbor no ill will toward the Jaguars. Matter of fact, it's a nice story. Matter of fact, I could get on the bed, but I literally, and I'm not just making this up because of this story. As I go through, on Sunday night and early Monday, I kind of go through the games. Is there anything interesting to talk about? People think I shouldn't say this because it kind of
peels the curtain a little bit.
Yeah, and then people go, say it isn't so common. I thought you didn't prepare at all. I briefly look, that's a hell of a game. That must have been fun, what happened there, right? And then you get a couple of quotes from the game. So,
I haven't watched a Jags game since, Blake Bortles is the quarterback.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
His father, or maybe it was his grandfather, he was part of the Bartles and James fortune. Wasn't that some type of a wine cooler, Bortles and James? Could you Google Bortles and James?
Yeah.
I think it was his great-grandfather, or maybe it was just not great-grandfather, his grandfather started the company Bortles and James. Do you see Bortles and James there?
Yes.
What does it say?
It's spelled differently, so I don't think it's him.
You're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to go along with the bits. Okay, Mark Rosen.
Popular brand of flavored wine coolers.
Yeah. James.
1980s advertising featured 2 older gentlemen in overalls.
And if you watch Blake Bortles play, you'd think he'd been drinking some of that wine. All over the place. Not real accurate. But the gist of this, the point I'm getting to is, do you really have to use that as motivation for your team? I know I talk about this all the time, because teams will use do you really need that to be motivated? I'm trying to think. It seems like once a week, there's head coach of the Wolves had to do it. The only way we're going to beat the Thunder is I got to get tossed from the game. So he ranted and he raved, and then he's like, then they have to hold him back. You've heard
a couple
this, right?
times. Yeah.
Yeah, he's, let me at him. Let me at him. I did the same thing. Did I ever tell you this story? Oh, this is a really good story. Haight-Ashbury days. Scott Ledoux's fighting Mike Weaver at the Metropolitan Sports Center. Yeah, because I think the Marty Monroe fight was at. Google Mike Weaver versus Scott Ledoux. Maybe it was at the St. Paul Auditorium. Regardless, it was one of the Ledoux fights at the Metropolitan Sports Center, because after the fight, we went over the old Thunderbird You familiar with the Thunderbird?
I'm not.
Thunderbird was out on 494 Strip in Bloomington. This is when Metropolitan Stadium still existed. And when did the Metrodome open? 84, wasn't it? Yeah, I think. I know the Met Center was still there because we went to the fight.
The Met Center.
Yeah, so it was Ledoux Weaver.
November 24th, 1979.
Okay. So were you born then?
No.
Okay. So we're there, a couple 13, 14. After the fight, we're disappointed. Scott loses the fight, right? And I don't this is actually embarrassing. I don't know why I would do something like this. Scott, at the time, I didn't even know Scott personally. He didn't know me. We became fast friends later on. The late Scott Ledoux. He lost the fight, walking through the bar at the Thunderbird, and somebody calls. He goes, Ledoux's nothing but a bum anyways. And I was walking by, I go, did you just call Ledoux a bum? Did you just, this guy, I didn't say that. I said, is Ledoux a bum? Scott gave it everything he had. I was kind of annoyed by it. He goes, yeah, I did. So what of it?
Whoa.
So then, I'm not making this up. So I got my drink, man. He goes, what are you going to do about it, buddy boy? So at that point, I don't know what I've got to do something, right? I've got to.
You've been challenged.
I've been challenged. So I've got a mixed drink, which I don't do much, right?
You've got a Bortles and...
I got a Bortles and James on ice.
Yes.
And I've decided, well, I'm gonna throw the Bortles and James on ice. So I go like that, but the ice is all frozen together, and then it just drops between us.
No!
At our feet. We both look down, right, at the ice. We both look at each other, and then he rears back to throw a punch at me. And he grazes me because I've still got a little, So I move back. Immediately, his buddies and my buddies jump in and pull us both back. Now, this guy would have killed me, right? I'm fast and I'm wired, but my schoolboy fight record, from elementary school through graduation until I quit school, I was like 2-8-3. Like 2 wins, 8 losses, 3 draws, right? So I wasn't doing good. But at that point, right, when you know that your buddies are holding you and his buddies are holding, and then you get even more tough. Let me at him. I'll tear him limb from limb. Right? Because now, had they said, okay, go get him, Tiger, and then his buddies, I might not be here today. Because he was big. That was the biggest mistake. Hey, why would I care if a guy says something? But I was mad. Scott had laid it on. Guys are in a training room. Guys are laying it on the line.
You want 12 rounds with him?
Yeah.
Come on.
Lopsided decision loss. Hercules Weaver ended up winning the heavyweight championship of the world, knocked out Big John Tate, Knoxville, Tennessee, with 1 punch in the 15th and final round.
But that was before your pillow throw day.
Oh, yeah.
So that was before we learned.
Well, and I was under the influence.
Well, there's that.
Nothing. You can use this anytime. There's an old saying I just made up, and you can use this. Nothing good has ever come from getting drunk. Nothing. Yeah, okay. You ran into a gal at a bar one time. Okay, great. I'm talking about, really good things. So, Finchie's the same way. Because you think, had he gotten away, he would have actually physically accosted the referees? Of course he would not. But hold me back. They got to hold him back because he's going to go after those guys, man. So that'll happen. It's happened to me before. But so you said, think about it. So Cohen, it's not enough that you're playing a game on the road. You've got a really good team you're facing. Plenty on the line, playoff spot. Maybe do they have a chance? They don't. I don't think they can get home field advantage throughout the playoffs, but nevertheless, they
at least get a home game.
Get a home game.
Yeah.
You got time zones. You have altitude change. You have body clock, circadian rhythms. You have all of those things going against you, and yet you're going to lean on. They called us a small market team. They said we're a little tiny town. They basically said we're Green Bay. Little tiny town, little hamlet. They basically said, Sean Payton basically said, we're a one-horse town. We've got one stoplight that blinks on and off. It's not even a real one that goes red, yellow, and green, and then has the yellow arrow that says that you can take a left turn if there's no traffic coming. They roll the street up when the sun goes down. They just roll it up and put it behind City Hall. All right, there's fighting words. If that's the way he's gonna talk about Jacksonville, well, guess what? Let's go win this football.
And they all ran out after.
I guess.
Yeah. I wish Ben Johnson would have said that Green Bay is a small market town. Maybe would have fired it up a little bit more.
This little Green Bay team, little tiny team, 90,000 people. They don't have a building over 2 stories tall.
I hope Kevin O'Connell says it next week. Jeez.
I mean, but in all honesty, it's like you really needed that. I guess it worked. I guess that's where the credit's going to go. But like I said about the Finch thing, you can only use that one time.
Mm-hmm.
If, let's say, who do they play next? Can you look?
I can't. You got to pick your spots with that. They play the Nuggets tomorrow in Denver.
They play Denver again? They just played Denver.
Oh, you're talking Jags.
Yeah, I'm talking Jaguars.
Oh, I thought you
No,
meant
we're
Finch.
still talking. Finch was just an example of another. Follow along. I should have given you a printout.
Thank you. I missed the prep sheet.
Sorry.
They get the Colts.
Yeah. So who's the head coach of the Colts? Steichen? No,
it's new guy.
it's the new guy. The guy that used to play quarterback, Kafka. Franz Kafka, who was also was a novelist. Who didn't have
Very
time.
busy guy.
Who didn't have time for a wife. And he's living with Davey, who's still in the Navy and probably will be for life. So is Steichen? No, Kafka. Is he going to go?
Yes.
That's a really good team over there. And if I'd do it if I were him, I'd go, that's a really good team over there. They offense, defense, special teams is really good. They've been coaching them really well. And you know what? I mean, and they're in a small market. It's true, smaller markets that we complain about it all the time, right? There's an East Coast bias and there is a West Coast bias. Now, I know Jacksonville's on the West Coast. Jacksonville, California. Surf City, they call it. And I get that. So it is a coastal team, but it's not. When we're talking East and West Coast bias, we're talking about Los Angeles and we're talking about New York. And I guess Boston, too, right?
Sure.
The big markets. They're the ones that get all of the attention. And because, why? Those markets have bigger populations. This is how it works in the real world. Valet parking. The bigger the market, the more media attention. The more media attention, the more eyes. And the more eyes, the more dollars you can spend for advertising. The more advertising dollars that are spent. And then people reap those profits and more people to buy the products that are advertised. That's why we're flyover country, because we're not quite as big. Same with Jacksonville. But it's like, if you need that to get yourself fired up, Jacksonville has no chance to go anywhere in the postseason. If that's what it took for them to get fired up for as important a game as to have to add that fuel to the fire, the only thing that trumps all of that is if a guy looks at you and says, your grandma wears army boots. Now them's ours fighting words. Those are fighting.
I always love that one.
We'll take a break. We got one more hour to go. Hope you're enjoying your Christmas Eve. We are as well. It's Common Man along with Brett Blakemore here on The Fan.